It's that time of the year where every commercial looks like a Hallmark movie. Like we're in the Hallmark multiverse. Yeah, I went there. It's that time of the year. It's the holidays. It's like if you're single, you're some sort of endangered species, let alone if you're over 40, 50, 60, and beyond. Yeah, it's as if the holidays bring on this certain amount of stress mentally. We feel like we need to show up joyful all the time. And again, if you're single, all those feelings and all those things that we've been feeling sometimes throughout the year sort of collide because it's the holidays. We're supposed to be happy. But if you're single, it can be a little bit tough. And just the other day, and granted, this is my favorite time of the year, and you would think as a former mall marketing director of a million years that I would not necessarily like the holidays because listen, we were hanging the decor up there in the rafters, hanging wreaths and all the things at our properties with our operations crew and amazing holiday team and getting ready for Santa to arrive and all the things. You would think that I would not like the holidays because listen, we start planning the holidays. If you're in the marketing world or in the world of shopping center marketing, we start planning the holidays in June, July. That's right. I'm doing interviews with Santa. I am interviewing Santa from the North Pole in August to make sure that we have the best real live Santa, beard and all, for our shopping center. So anyway, but I am single. I have been single 59 years. Okay, I've had some really wonderful men in my life and some really crappy ones too, just so you know. But I've been single for a very long time, and so have many of my friends who are in their 50s, because I'm 59, as I said. And we're talking about it all. So I want to welcome you, house guests, to the House of Middlelescence. This is where it's kind of like an 80s mixtape where we cover everything that we are dealing with, working with, life, career, culture, in our 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. And listen, it is a beautiful time in life, but not everything is perfect, especially, again, this time of the year when you're single. So around here, we're all about living agefully inside of my house, your house, as the house guest, where we laugh loudly, we tell a lot of truths, you know what? And we have a lot of fun because life in middlescence, if people want to tell you you are over your prime, you're in your prime, girlfriend. You are in your prime. And so let's first open up before we bring on my guest. He was a therapist, a friend of mine. A lot of conversation was had over dinner last week with me and another single friend of mine, and then my other friend who's been happily married for many years. It just had me thinking about this holiday season and sort of what we're going through in singlehood. And, I woke up yesterday morning with a little bit of a funk. I was in a little bit of a funk, y'all. It's that time of the year, so that's when I decided we need to talk about this. And Sara and I were going to already talk about the holidays and all of that, but it just, I don't know, it was magnified yesterday morning for me. So let me give you today's show's prime example. Get the play on words, prime example. I was talking to one of the women inside of my community and what she did last year, because she's single, she's over 40, and she decided on Christmas morning to have brunch with herself. That's right. It was she, herself, and her. As in me, myself, and I. Yeah, and you know what? She said she felt no freaking guilt whatsoever. No guilt, no explaining to anyone, no apologizing, just a lovely brunch out. Because there are some places that are open for brunch and for families with herself. And she said it was the calmest holiday that she had had in years. In years. And I think I might do this year and then go visit my mom. I love this idea. That right there is a prime example of choosing yourself without production, right? Without the idea that you need to, and you must be waking up on Christmas morning with some kids opening, although we're past this, but kids opening up the presents, you and your man, your woman, they are, enjoying the morning. But that is a prime example, in my opinion, of living agefully. And as the coaches would want to say, protecting your peace. I'm protecting my peace. That's right. That is your prime example. But we're going to get real for a moment, and then we're going to go back to protecting our peace, because I have Sara Senst, who's going to talk to us, who is going to talk to us today and give some tools, some things. We're going to talk through some realities, and hopefully we'll all come out on the other side with, some clarity, as I like to say, some things that we can do so that we feel a little bit darn better about this time of the year if you are in a funk. Because I know a lot of us, I know a lot of us are kinless. There are some that, lost not just one parent, but both parents. When I posted about what this show was going to be about yesterday, and how I literally said in the first 3 words were my post to my Facebook friends were, I need a break. And then I explained my feelings, and it kind of blew up with a couple other people saying the same thing. And it's being kinless and some other things. And so first, as we jump in about being single / being a solo ager, if that's a thing for the holidays, there's no specific stats on how many people over 40 are single during the holidays out there in the world. There are a lot of us, because I'm sure if you're watching, if you're not single yourself, I'm sure you have a bevy of friends who have, been divorced, so they're single, never been married like myself, all the things. And all we have is, dogs that are running behind trying to be in our scene, by the way. But here's something. Okay, it says in 2017, an AARP study found that 28% of adults over 50 reported feeling lonely during the holiday season. 28%. That's more than a quarter of people over 50 that are feeling lonely and those are the ones who reported it. Let's just be honest. Those are the ones who said, yes, that's me. This issue is such a part of a bigger trend that's happening, where more of us, as I said, regardless of our age or stage, capital AGE, our stage in life, are kinless. And again, we're just feeling the pressures, bringing the joy during the holidays. There's intensified loneliness. The holidays sort of heighten our feelings of, where's my human? And the woe is me, and just feeling sort of sorry for ourselves, although we shouldn't, because we are alive. And if you're healthy, that's a blessing in itself. But there's the societal pressures as well. The holidays seem to emphasize that, family and coupling, and that we should be together with someone, and kids are home with their own families at this age, or coming home from college. But there's a societal pressure which makes people single feel like we're not measuring up, that we're not enough, especially if all those Hallmark movies are fa la 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 line all throughout the episodes, where they're, people are falling in love. The woman comes from the woman with the big career decides she needs a break from New York City and has to go to some town called the Good Place, Colorado, because they always come up with the, bright spot, Colorado, Loveland, Colorado. That's a real place. And then suddenly she falls in love with the baker, who also is this hot man who also has years ago decided to come back, and he's changed his career, and he, all the things. It's a societal pressure to be in a Hallmark movie, And then there's a growing kinlessness. So there are those of us that are child-free, childless, whether by choice or not. But then there are people like others that I won't name that, again, have lost their parents. So they've not, I'm about to tear up, that have not just lost one parent. I don't know why it's got me. I think I'm tearing up because I can feel how sad that is. And for those like my friend Michelle Fox, who just lost her mom unexpectedly, and others, and she'd be okay with me mentioning that, it is tough to be kinless or parentless. You almost feel like you're a, what is it when you're an adopted, anyway, you get where I'm going with it. And then just the increased stress that the holidays bring on. We're talking financial obligations, the pressure again to be festive, which can really just detract, frankly, from what the season is supposed to be about. And the mental health, the focus on mental health, the fact that suicide rates do go up. A lot of passings actually do happen during the holidays. I lost my father just after the holidays. His birthday's on January 1st. I lost my father January 11th, so just after the holidays. But if you're in Colorado, it's still holiday season because it's a thing to keep your lights up until after the stockyards, or I'm sorry, the rodeo that happens here. It's a thing. So the holidays still go on for us in Colorado until mid-January. So there's all that. So, right? So let's jump in and I want to introduce Sara Senst, and let's talk about the first part of this of 3 is the solo holiday truth check. The solo holiday truth check. Welcome to the show, Sara Senst. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so happy to have you. You're just always a pleasure, to have when in times where we need to throw some truth bombs, in times where we need to talk through things. And so I would love for you to introduce yourself and give us sort of a quick bit about who you are. And frankly, I think your background is fascinating, how you came to be, because you weren't a therapist by trade earlier in your earlier years. Oh, Riley wants to say hi, Sara.
Hi, Riley girl.
So yes, can you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. My name is Sara Senst. I'm a licensed professional counselor here in Colorado and a trained life coach as well. I'm in chapter 62 in my life, which is feeling great for the most part. I'm also a solo ager and have been for many years. And I know for some people this is a new chapter. For some people it's a very old chapter, but it's worth discussing. So yes, briefly, my first career was in residential real estate. I was in sales, and the market crashed in 2008, 2009, and that was the end of that. And there's a lot of details there I don't need to share, but I reinvented myself, went back, got my master's degree at about 50 years old, and started a new career. And I've been doing this 13 years. I own a private practice. My sweet spot, as I say, is women 50 plus. Experiencing difficulty in transition, some of which absolutely occurs at the holidays. Divorcees, widowers, empty nesters, things like that. And the holidays can be really triggering. So I think that's a good segue into what we're here to talk about today.
I agree. When you were talking about those numbers with what happens, that the stresses start to come on during this time. When we were having dinner with the girls last Friday, you had said that your business suddenly started increasing, and you already do well for yourself, but your business started increasing in November because
absolutely
here are the holidays. And it's interesting that many more people are even, and I'm one of them, in a sense, to try to feel more joy or bring more joy to myself, even started putting up their decor earlier than usual. Usually it's the day after, for most families, including mine, it's the day after or the weekend after Thanksgiving. But shoot, I put mine up literally the first weekend in November. And I think a lot of people were doing that to sort of, it does bring joy. So I'm not saying the holidays don't necessarily bring joy, but the feelings can do that, but then also conjure up the other things. And so I wonder if it started ticking up in November because the season is starting earlier now.
Yes, potentially.
I
And
don't
it
know.
does
What do you
it
think?
does kick off with Thanksgiving, right? And
Right.
for a lot of people, this actually brings up a lot of conflict in families.
Oh,
So,
oh,
right? So family expectations, traditions, boundaries, alcohol sometimes, and it can kick up a lot of things for people, and so it can be very triggering. Loss and grief, by the way, in all
lots of
seriousness. so
yeah.
so yes, I mean, absolutely. And I think a really important word here is the word and what I mean by that is, you said you decorate early to start the joy, right? To start the feelings of joy, which is fantastic. And we might during the holiday season have some feelings of isolation, loneliness, sadness, grief, a little depression. So I really want to introduce that concept that sometimes, oftentimes, those feelings and concepts can live alongside each other. It's not one or the other. That
Mhm.
if I'm feeling a little bit down, then I must not feel any joy and I must not be grateful or something like that. And that's just simply not true. It's
Yeah.
both. It can be joy and these other feelings we experience. We're humans having a full range of an emotional experience. That's what this life is about. And I really want to normalize that for people, that just because you get a little down, a little blah, stressed, anxious, it's okay. And you can still find joy.
Meaning, don't feel guilty that you were tethering between the two feelings. Don't feel
Absolutely.
guilty that, or feel the pressure that just because it's the holidays you feel down, you should be pushing out, and feeling a certain way. They live in concert with each other. I love
You,
that.
you said it perfectly.
I love that. Well, and so when did it even start, or why is it that we have this pressure to perform, and how can we get, and I'm lucky, I don't have a family that makes me feel any different because I'm single, or, oh, when are you going to find a man, or when
Same here.
and all the things.
Yeah,
But
same here.
but there are others out there, and so how can we somehow get our families not to put this pressure on us? Because I think sometimes it actually does come from sometimes from our families,
Oh, I think it absolutely
right?
sometimes does. And if we're in our 40s, 50s, and 60s, we've got a long-standing history with those families. And it will always go back to boundaries. It's okay to set a boundary, even with family members. The point of a boundary is to keep ourselves healthy and safe, not to punish others. And we
Hmm.
can do this I want to offer the word in a micro boundary sort of way.
Oh,
And let me give two examples.
okay.
I'm going to cut my celebration short this year. I'll be arriving around such and so time. I'll be leaving around so and so time, right? Or saying no to all the holiday festivities that might come in between Thanksgiving, Christmas, and just really setting these micro boundaries that are saying, I want to participate. I want to stay healthy. I want to protect my peace, as you've said. And that includes family members. Not always easy, but very important.
Well, and when it comes to family members, what's interesting is there's this new thing, and I was watching the Oprah podcast just last week, and there is this new thing where people are disconnecting completely from their
Yes,
family members that are toxic to
yes,
them. And it was
yes.
a fascinating conversation that she was having with some of these people who literally cut the cord with their moms, their dads, their whole families, because their family doesn't like their loved one, their new wife, their new husband, their new whatever partner, whatever it may be. People are disconnecting. Is that a part of boundaries? The new
It,
boundaries that are taking place
I was
today?
gonna say it's new because we didn't used to, I mean, if you were family and you were blood, you didn't set a boundary.
You
Anything and
shouldn't.
everything was fair game. But and this is a good point. Her podcast, I didn't watch it, but it was on estrangement, right? People that are estranged in their family
Yes.
relationships. And this is more common as we gain emotional intelligence and we gain better mental health. Sometimes we have to make the very difficult decision. It's hard to cut ourselves off from those people that are unhealthy for us.
Mm.
And people are coming into therapy for that very thing.
And it's interesting you said, and it's true, especially with Gen X boomers, you just dealt with it. There was no way that you would ever think about,
No.
without feeling extreme guilt, cutting off a family member or saying, I'm not going. So it is fascinating that people are just making that choice and saying, you know what, this isn't healthy for me. So I'm going to micro boundary myself.
There you go. There you go. That might be a macro boundary. That might be a big one, right?
Right.
But boundaries, yes, absolutely.
What about the myth that being partnered fixes holiday stress? What about that? Because I'm sure there are some people that even feel that, going into the holiday season, I'm just going to get on Hinge, I'm going to get on Match, I'm going to get on Harmony and find me a man or a woman or whomever it may be, in the back of their mind, just so they can finally have someone for the holidays. And because Valentine's Day is also coming up.
Yeah.
Does it?
Guilty. Maybe I might be guilty of that. And though, let's talk about that, because I think it's so important to stress that being single is not your identity, it's a relationship status. So sometimes when we call ourselves single, it's so loaded in this society. And you spoke about that at the beginning of the podcast, right? That somehow we're an anomaly, or something is wrong, right? And nothing is wrong. It's a relationship status. And you might want to change it and you might not want to change it. But the pressure of being coupled up. But I think the answer to your question of about entering the holiday season as a couple, talk to your married friends. See how many of them are like, there's nothing perfect. Let's put it that way. The thing that makes me kind of sad each year, being vulnerable also, for whatever reason, is decorating by myself. And I shared this with a girlfriend, and I said, it really makes me sad every year. And every year I swear I'm not going to feel sad the next year. And I still do. And it's just kind of my thing. She said, Sarah, do you really think my husband helps me decorate? And there are wonderful partners out there. I'm not bashing anybody.
Right.
But the point is, when we compare, what is it? Comparison is the thief of our joy or something. When we compare, it's not fair, because we don't know what other people are going through, married or single. And so us being single is not the exclusive thing that brings on feelings of sadness, loneliness, etc. People that are married can have those feelings also.
I hear that from my marrieds as well. Like, girl, life isn't perfect. Back at the home, it's not that perfect. Okay, right?
Right.
And they do say there's a gray, what is it called? It's
gray divorce.
Gray divorce that's happening. Yeah.
Yes.
More than ever before, more people are getting divorced over 45, 50. Yeah.
Yes.
Because they're saying, you know what?
True.
They're watching their boundaries. They said this isn't, I guess in your kind of speak, this isn't serving me any longer.
There you go.
All right. So let's get into the therapist's toolkit.
Okay.
Can you give us a boundary line any of us can use?
Oh, okay. Maybe something like, I'm willing to do X. That sounds a little more pleasant than I'm unwilling to do X, although they're both okay. This year, I'm honoring myself and I'm choosing to do X, and I look forward to celebrating with you whenever, if that's on the radar. Right?
Yeah.
I think messages to yourself about, I loved your example about the Christmas morning brunch with she, herself, and herself. Creating tradition around things that bring you joy.
Yeah.
And really validating what you're looking for, the joy and tradition you're looking for, and honoring others. I see that it's important to you to host an all-day event. For me, I'd love to join part of the day, so on and so forth. Is that helpful?
Yes, that's very helpful. Is yes, just saying, kind of saying what you're feeling, but in a nice way.
Yeah, just
Backing
gentle,
out, being
gentle.
gentle. Yeah. What is a as they what is some sort of a shift in how we think that can help that helps us when everyone around us is performing perfection? How can we mentally say, just because that girlfriend you talked about who has, let's just say that she's got beautiful decor up, and and it's perfect, the house has the lights up and the husband helped her, although we realize the husband didn't. How can we shift the way we think about holiday perfection? Because it's not a holiday, it's not a Hallmark movie.
No, none of it is. We've got to remind ourselves of that, right? None of it is.
Right.
But really staying present, and I think returning to gratitude and coming from a place of abundance. So, what I mean by that is being grateful for what we already have. We so often, when we set goals, dream, think about what we want in life, it's always out in the future and something we don't have. But being grateful for what we already have in our lives. Health is my number one thing every day. Without it, I have nothing. And so, really returning to being present and what do you have? And then, like you said, or we discussed, trying to get rid of the comparison and trying to focus on what brings you joy. What brings you joy is different than what brings me joy, just like you might like a different song than I like, or music or
Yes.
something. And it's
Right.
okay. It's okay.
It's okay. That's the most important thing, is that it's okay. And again, not I mean, nothing is a Hallmark movie.
No.
Sarah, what would be a sign that what you're feeling maybe more than the holiday blues,
Ah,
that may just need a little bit more attention? Because, I believe, and please, no one quote me on this, but I do believe, at least a few years back, I heard that suicidal rates do go up during this time. Whether it's unaliving yourself during this time, or having unaliving thoughts
absolutely.
that you wouldn't
Yes.
go through.
Yes.
Yes.
So for somebody to be watching their own mental health, it's any kind of really significant negative impact on one of the significant areas of your life. So your ability to work, your ability to participate in activities you enjoy, your
Mm.
ability to participate in your relationships, your physical health. If any of those are taking a major dive, we're looking at a mental health issue that's probably a
Mm.
little bit beyond the holidays, or it's being so significantly impacted that professional help is absolutely appropriate.
Where can someone go? I mean, yes, there are those unaliving hotlines.
Yes,
That
988.
it's
Let's throw that out.
Yeah, it's probably time, if you, as you said, are experiencing this deepness that you just in your mind don't see an out. It's the time
Yes.
to make the call to
Yes.
a professional, to a family member, and someone who will not judge you, that's in your life, that will not judge,
Correct.
right?
Yes, and very important about that. Another signal might be is if you feel you can't tell your friends or family,
Yeah.
that's not a good sign.
Ooh.
A lot of people think, oh, I don't want to bother them. It's their holiday. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. That's a problem. And I think for
Mm.
people that have solo ager friends, it's important that they're checking in on occasion, right? Everybody's busy. I get it. But we really want to watch for isolation
Mm.
and or not isolate, right? Like we
Yeah,
don't want that to be happening, and people
right.
checking in if they can, because all we all
Mhm.
want as humans, Barbara, is connection. We want connection.
Connection. It's so I there are times, I was talking to another friend last night, Kimmy. There are times in my life that, and I did it. So I learned I had depression about 10 years ago. I didn't
Mm,
know that I was living with depression my entire adult life, probably
mm,
as really a kid, until I had a moment at a moment that made me say exactly what you're saying, where it was time I needed to see a professional, because In no way would I ever want to unalive myself. However, I do know those feelings. I
Yes.
know it. I exactly those feelings and what it feels like to be at the rock bottom in your mind, in sadness, in whatever else may be going through. And there are times, like you say, that I now recognize a couple other friends that do this too, that have also come out recently with being open and honest about their living with depression. We disappear. I disappear.
Yes.
I'm not on social as much. And if I'm not a fake it till I make it kind of person. I'll always say how I'm feeling. But there are times that I will not go as deep into how I'm really feeling as I did yesterday. And I'll just disappear for a week or two and then come back. Because
Yes.
in my head, I need that moment away. I need to not see that life looks perfect for everybody else, even though I recognize it's not. And so I think it is important. Now I reach out. Now
Excellent.
I will send a text to say, as I did with you, as
Yes,
from
you
a
did.
friend standpoint, not therapist. You're not my therapist, but I actually do need to get one again. But yeah, so I think it's important that if you're feeling, please don't feel like your friends are judging you, especially if you do know you have those friends that don't. Just reach out. And as you said, you also reach out and say, and I laid in bed this morning knowing we were having this conversation, and I reached out to a couple people saying, hey, I'm thinking of you.
Excellent.
How are you? And not a fake, like, I went into conversation with them, not just, hey, how you doing? Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You
One of the
just don't
best
know.
one of the best things for our mental health is to give to others. And so I
Mm,
love that you did that this morning. Even sometimes we don't feel like it. And
yeah.
depression and holiday blues will absolutely tell us, our mind will tell us, stay home. Don't go out, don't connect, don't do anything. It's safe here, it's comfortable here. And sometimes we've got to push through some of that. And if we
Yeah.
can't, it might be time for some professional help.
Are there any resources or actionable tips? Are there anything else you can leave us with when it comes to the therapist toolkit before we do a quick holiday hot seat and call it a morning?
Sure, I do have some tips. So the holidays trigger emotional time capsules. So moments in time over our life. Maybe we had parents divorcing at one holiday season, or there was alcoholism that was impacting or something. And really reminding ourselves today, is what I'm feeling about today and everything I have going on today, or about my past?
Mm,
Second,
mm,
we are not responsible for other people's emotional experiences. Women have been
mm.
manufactured to find their value in pleasing others. And we do not have to do that anymore. Yes, we want the people around us to be happy and we'd love to contribute to that, but you
Right.
are not solely responsible for it.
Yes. Love it.
Three, do not force cheer. You spoke of this earlier. Cheery, Hallmark movies, Christmas music at the mall. Don't force cheeriness. Do encourage gentleness, being
Mm,
gentle on ourselves.
yeah.
The next thing is, please remember your emotional season does not need to match the holiday season,
Oh, that's a mic drop. Oh, that's a mic drop.
right?
Okay.
And guess what? At times it might, and at times it might not. But when it doesn't, lower the pressure. It's okay. Normalize that you're not going to run at 100 holiday cheer between Thanksgiving and New Year's Day. It's unrealistic.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
next, create holiday minimums, which are some rest, some one-on-one connection outside of the big holiday parties or bars or restaurants or events and things, and find one simple joy. Is it walking Cherry Creek North, which is local to us, and looking at the beautiful holiday lights one night? Maybe it's that. And then creating new solo traditions, a
Mm.
brunch with yourself, a self-care day, a holiday playlist that you crafted. And the last thing I'll leave you with is a reflective letter to yourself from your future older self that says, "Dear Barbara, this is what I want you to know."
Oh, I just want to tear up. Now I get it, because you text me that. And I didn't think about the Dear Barbara first. And then,
It's Dear Barbara.
Like that.
It's to Dear Barbara at 59 from beloved Barbara at 79.
Wow. That's powerful, Sara. These are such great tips. That's powerful. I can't wait to activate some of these over the weekend.
Great.
One of them is, for me, is I'm going to do something crafty.
Love it.
I'm also going to the Hammond's Candy Factory. It's a free tour that they give here. It's a world-renowned candy place here in Colorado, in Denver. And me and my friend Consuelo and my cousin Miyoko, we're going to the candy factory for 30 minutes before I hit up a brunch party.
Love it.
With some bottomless mimosas with some other singles. But yeah, no, I love this. This is such a solid list. I love this, Sara. I have an idea for you. Stay. We're ending here in a moment. I know you have an appointment. Would you say I have an idea? Because I think you need to. I think you need to pitch this to my media contacts. Is what is my idea.
I would love it.
You doing a segment. That's what. There you go. So I'm just going to tell you that now. So we'll talk later today, and I'll send. I'll make a connection between you and my connections that I have.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, because I think this is really important. These therapist toolkits are tips are really great. Now, holiday hot seat. How do I? Well, no, you actually already gave us. How do we talk to our family about not staying all week if we are going to, to New York or wherever or maybe at the mountains or just home here in Colorado, where it may be. How can we talk to our family members? You gave us those points, but is it normal that I would want to spend the holidays entirely alone and not feel freaking bad about it at all? That's normal, right?
I think what it is a choice, and choices are normal.
Okay, that's good.
But we've got to be careful, because we touched on this. Unless we want to totally isolate and disconnect, and we're not doing well. If we want to disconnect and refuel and recharge, great. There is a difference.
Okay, the last one on the holiday hot seat is, what do I do when everyone keeps asking, why am I still single? Girl, you're 59. Why are you still single? Or man, dude, why are you still single? There's plenty of babes out there. Not that anybody would ever speak that way.
Sure.
But I mean, that does come up. I feel like it doesn't come up as much these days because there are so many Gen Xers that are single and haven't been married. Because I would say 80% of my friends are that, but maybe 50%. But yeah, what do we say? Ugh.
I know. Well, sarcastic Sara wants to say, "Why are you still married?" But I won't ruin. I won't ruin the holiday spirit. But I think for me, the answer is right now, I'm really enjoying a very full, satisfying single life. And someday, if I meet the right person and bring them into my life, I'll enjoy that stage as well.
Ooh.
And just like really being empowered at where you are. There's no excuses. There's no defense. Okay, right? There's no excuses. There's no defense. There's nothing to apologize for. And there are no shortcomings.
Yeah, that's good. This has been so fabulous having you back here again, Sara, on the House of Middlelescence as one of my house guests. I so appreciate you. I appreciate you in life, and I appreciate your brain and your therapist self and what you do to help others in your profession, because it's really, if there's a profession that's needed more today, it's what you do.
Yes.
It is what you do. And so I thank you. And so what I want to do as we come to a close is I want to give my Row quick tip. That's my return on experience tip for those. And you can add to this if you'd like. So my one tip is she said it, you don't owe anyone a performance. You don't owe anyone a performance. You don't owe anyone perfection, let alone yourself. Your experience already tells you what drains you and what fuels you, as exactly what she said. Trust the data, trust your gut, trust the plan accordingly, and you do you, because you are in the prime of your life. And that, to me, is the return on experience.
Love that.
Quick tip.
I love that. And in closing, I would say if the holidays do feel heavy for you, please remember there's nothing wrong with you. Not one thing.
Not one thing.
Not one thing.
I appreciate you. And as we sign off, I just want to remind everyone that life is a remix. I told you this show is like a good 80s mixtape that you used to sit in your bedroom and make late at night, wait for the DJ to stop talking so you can click play, record. Life is that. Life is a remix, and every day is just another track on your own soundtrack of life. It's all about living agefully and recognizing this time in life is beautiful. And I will see you back here in the house next Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Thank you, Sara, for coming with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.